I'm back. So actually, I just thought of some other things I wanted to say about Sadhguru. And yeah, there was at one point during the programme that he was, an hour before, he said, oh, would you let me walk out into the crowd, without anyone touching my feet? He doesn't like anyone touching his feet, and I noticed he had his socks on. So I was actually able to get probably within 4 meters of him, which is quite rare. If I was to do some program in India, there's just so many more people that go to the ashram and see him. So, it's a relatively small crowd. And when we were doing all of our dancing, some people went up really close to the stage, like right next to him, and put their arms up, try and touch him maybe, or he signed some people's books. I was just kind of happy dancing a bit more on the outskirts. I just wanted a bit of space and just enjoying the moment. And I did so much dancing, in fact it's taken me nearly a week to get rid of the pain in my calf muscles. I think most people don't expect to go and do a volunteering Isha program and just do as much dancing as we did. It's great. Isha always do loads of dancing, and the live band was amazing. So anyway, after that hour, he did come out into the crowd, and people were sitting down at the front on seats, and then the volunteers were seated on the ground. And actually, no, everyone was on their yoga mats. There were no seats, and he had 4 people behind him to start with. They kind of crouched down, and they're kind of a bit like his bodyguards, I think. And he kind of put his hand back, like to push them away, as if, no, you don't need to come with me, I'll be all right, no one's going to do anything to me. So he let them go, and people slowly started coming up to him, and then more and more people came up to him, and then more and more people came up to him, and it was like this huge swarm, really, of human beings, and getting really quite close. And some people he was hugging, I think. You couldn't really see the filming at that point because no one could film him because he was too kind of crowded with everyone. But one lady afterwards, she said, oh yeah, she was in that kind of crowd, and she thought she'd hurt a rib by the kind of pushing and shoving of the people around. And I was like, blimey, it must have been quite intense in there, a bit like a mosh pit. But I didn't feel the need to be that close to him, so I kind of sat where all the volunteers were. I didn't move, I just stayed in my place, cross-legged, and just kind of still a bit meditating, I think I was. So that was a bit crazy. And one of my friends said, oh yeah, when I was up there dancing really close to him, I could have sworn he kind of looked at me and winked. Gave him a wink. And he may well have done. And when I was dancing at one point, I had this floaty top on, and I was kind of going for it. I think he might have been looking at me, but sometimes it's really hard with Sadhguru to know whether his eyes are open or whether his eyes are closed. He keeps them closed quite a lot. And I thought it was quite interesting how he gave himself space, because people kind of are asking for his attention quite a lot, and he would just kind of wander off around the back of the stage and kind of look at other things. And yeah, that was quite interesting how he managed the space and managed his people, because with every single person that's in his presence and in that room, he gives everything to. So it must be, like, for him it's not tiring. He can sleep 2 to 4 hours a night, and that's enough for him to survive and be, energetic and live his days happily and with lots of energy. But still, he gives so much. So I think that's why he has so many showers. There's lots of blogs you can read on that. But he kind of is always cleansing himself with water to just kind of, I think it's to do with, cleansing the energies that he gets from other people all the time, that they're, yeah. Anyway, you'll notice it. If you have a shower, you feel different afterwards, don't you? Yeah, I think it's possibly like that for him too. So, volunteering. I was in 3 teams. I was in the flower team, I was in the team for setting up the hall, and I was in the team for dining, and that was mainly Sunday, because Saturday there weren't actual meals. And all of the teams were really different, and I'm glad that I had that many tasks to do, because you just meet so many people and you do so many things and you help out in so many different ways. But I arrived late because of my flight into Gatwick was at 7:55, and registration and getting your wristband and everything had stopped before I arrived. And so I missed out on the main briefing at the beginning, and I didn't get a proper sheet of paper and everything of the layout of the day or the weekend. So at first I was like in all sorts of places. I was taken to the information desk, so I helped with participants, showing them where to register, and then I helped a bit with registration of the participants, and then I helped with luggage and everyone setting up all their personal belongings in the hall, and making that all tidy, because you've got 1,800 people's stuff to organise, so it doesn't become a mess and everyone can come back to it and know where their stuff is. So we made all these very organised lines, and we all had our bag given to us that we carried our shoes around with us everywhere. Brilliant technique. I didn't lose them the whole weekend. And the participants did the same thing. So yeah, I think that's what's so wonderful. You're doing this volunteering so that you can help all of these people that haven't maybe ever experienced anything to do with Isha, because inner engineering, which is what it was called, is kind of the beginning. It's the start. It's the stepping stone to the rest of what Isha Foundation do, and you can't really do any other course without having done it. And with his particular course with Sadhguru there, you do the 7 sessions of online inner engineering first, so that you're primed and ready for the weekend course with him. But most of the time, if he's not giving it, it would be 2 evenings and 2 whole days. And any other teacher that's teaching the programme would do it that way with the 4-day thing, which also works beautifully, but then you don't have him necessarily, but not that that matters. So yeah, it's just knowing that you're there helping 1,800 people be initiated with Shambhavi Mahamudra, and to just experience something that's like something like they've never experienced in their life before, to be life-changing, to be the first step for kind of the rest of their life on this amazing journey that we're all on. And that sounds so cheesy, but if you haven't done that kind of yoga before, then you won't understand what I'm talking about. But if you've done Shambhavi, then you'll get it. You'll be like, yeah, I know what you mean, Joe. And yeah, so Sadhguru also says that you should be almost like you're a volunteer every single day of your life. Your willingness to give, your willingness to help others, your willingness to, when I do my gardening, giving to the soil so that I can, reap the benefits with my plants, and that they will give also in return. And it's just this kind of harmony that is created. And with me, I'm now, I think it'll probably end up being 3 yoga retreats with Isha, whether it's Angamadana, Surya Kriya, I don't know, we haven't decided yet, but I'm going to volunteer and be one of the main organisers for these retreats in the Pyrenees. And that's just me being switched on with being a volunteer and wanting to give to more people, so that as many people as possible experience what I'm going through, and experience what all the other Isha people are feeling, and all the other yogis out there that are doing a practice that actually works for your physical being, your mental being, your energy body, everything. It's just working. And just physical yoga does not get to that place, does not come anywhere near the kind of place that we get to. Yeah, so I met a lovely Russian. I met two lovely Russians. One was a raw vegan like me, and we talked about food lots. And she said, "Oh, on your yoga retreats, if you need someone to help out with, the cooking and the preparing and everything, then I'll come and do that for very little money. I'll come from England and do that and help out with the food." So that was amazing. And then the other Russian was a young mum with two children who lived in London with her partner, and she told me that she locked herself in the room in the morning to do her practice, and I was like, really? Gosh, I don't do that. I have my family wandering around, but having done Mahashivratri sadhana and done it in silence in a room on my own, I've realised that how having that space and not having people coming near you and the sounds and the shuffling and the walking and the movement of other physical beings around you, it's more powerful, and it's definitely something that I need to work towards and do my yoga on my own. I think it's really important. So she does that. So that made me think, us talking. I met so many wonderful people. And at the end, I took the underground home with Jayshree, and she said that she's feeling nearly ready to become a teacher with Isha Foundation. And I said, I know, I really want to do it too. I don't think for me, because I've just moved country, it'll be this year, but hopefully next year. And she says, yeah, I'm not sure whether it'll be this year or next year, but we might end up doing our training together, which would be really nice. Yeah, I really wanted to bring home an Isha organic cotton yoga mat, because mine are really old and gross, and one of them's not grippy anymore. And having cotton under me, I'm realising, is much more different experience than having synthetic yoga mat under you. I'm noticing that. Oh, and my I've forgotten the word for it now. My beads, they actually worked for the first time over the food, and some of the XL food wasn't positive pranic because they had tomatoes in it, so I did the special trick, the clockwise positive, anti-clockwise negative, back and forth neutral, and it did it worked. Well done, beads. They're my seeds actually, and yeah, that was quite cool. And there was one of the XL ladies who was helping us with the food stands when we were doing the serving and everything. We were talking about positive pranic food and all that kind of thing, and she was a Muslim lady and didn't eat meat, and she was starting to become vegan, and I think the only thing she had left to cut out was cheese, and she just had like an egg every so often, but she was pretty much vegan. And so she was really intrigued and interested, and we told her that Isha wasn't anything to do with God, and she was like, yeah, she found it intriguing. So yeah, be a volunteer 100% of the time, and your life will be in a transformational mode. That's what Sadhguru says. Transformational mode. So yeah, I hope that I can bring Isha Yoga to France, to the southwest of France where I live, and to do more volunteering, and to bring more Isha Foundation people to this area, to come and volunteer, to come and help, and make this a much bigger experience for more people around the world, and let it spread like wildfire. Namaskaram everyone, and I hope this has been interesting for you. Talking about Sadhguru, talking about my experience with him, and talking about volunteering, and I'll see you again on my next video. Bye bye.